Investigators continue to list the young victim's cause and manner of death as deferred, meaning undetermined. But they've also now returned Celeste's remains to her family boyfriend. So was the medical... It has been assumed and sleuthed and now officially confirmed by police that the body had been in that trunk for several weeks before that. But now police are also saying that until and unless they determine how Celeste Rivas Hernandez actually died, they will not know whether she's a homicide victim or an accident victim, or maybe even took her own life.
Did she talk at all about her relationship with her parents?
Kind of. She just said they were mean or whatever. She didn't like them.
What is your last
The
memory?
FBI just dropped a bombshell that nobody saw coming. After raiding David's house and searching his car, they're saying the evidence might prove he isn't the killer. Wait, what? A 15-year-old girl's remains are found in his Tesla, and now investigators are suggesting he might have been framed? But before you start thinking this is some kind of vindication story, let me stop you right there. Because what's actually happening is way more complicated. The cause of death is still deferred. The medical examiner can't even determine if this was murder. And David's manager just went on TikTok to defend himself in the comment section. Yeah, you heard that right. We're solving potential murders through TikTok comments now. Before we dive into these explosive new developments, we need your help. This is True Crime Unravelled, and your comments and theories on this case have been incredible. We read every single one. If you're on YouTube, hit subscribe and ring the bell. On Facebook and TikTok, find us at True Crime Unravelled TV. Your engagement helps keep the pressure on and these stories alive. For those just joining us, here's what you need to know. 15-year-old Celeste Rivas was found decomposed in the trunk of a Tesla registered to singer David on September 8, 2025, one day after her birthday. She'd been missing since April 2024 when she was 13. The investigation revealed David had been in contact with her since she was possibly 11 or 12, with matching tattoos, songs about her, and Discord messages going back years. But now, everything we thought we knew is being questioned. Let's start with what the medical examiner just revealed. The cause and manner of death. Deferred. That's medical speak for we don't know.
In a statement to News Nation, the LAPD captain overseeing the investigation said the following, quote, "It remains unclear whether there is any criminal culpability beyond the concealment of her body." Wow. Which is all the more interesting when you remember the LA police chief indicated that this was a homicide, like last week. This was a homicide investigation. He did it in a TV interview. Keep in mind also that the medical examiner doesn't even have Celeste's remains anymore. Those were given back to her family also last week.
They can't determine if this was murder, suicide, overdose, or natural causes. The death certificate came out, and it's essentially blank where it matters most. Think about what that means legally. Without a determined cause of death, you can't charge someone with murder. You can charge them with concealing a body. That's a misdemeanor in California. Maybe a year in jail and a $1,000 fine. But murder? You need to prove someone was actually murdered first. The decomposition was so severe that when they found her, she weighed 71 pounds. The medical examiner noted she would have been around 5 feet 2 inches, but that's all they could determine from what remained. The body had been in that trunk during California's August heat. We're talking about a black Tesla sitting in direct sunlight where internal temperatures could exceed 140 degrees. Now here's where it gets interesting. Celeste's ex-boyfriend Damien just came forward, sitting next to his mother, and spoke up about why she ran away.
And also, speaking to an ex-boyfriend who lives still in the same area where Celeste grew up, but he spoke to one of our producers. His young man's name is Damien. Says that he and Celeste started dating when he was either 13 or 14, but he says that she did talk about some trouble at home, and I don't know how much of this is typical teenager, or is there something especially different that was going on there, but this is what Damien...
We should just say, we have edited some specifics out because we have not been able to confirm them, and we don't want to do this, but he is talking generally. By the way, he's sitting next to his mother.
She said how her mom didn't treat her well or whatever, and she didn't like where she was at.
Did she talk at all about her relationship with her parents?
Kind of. She just said they were mean or whatever. She didn't like them.
What is your last memory that you have of Celeste?
We were at PE, and she told me, my friend, that she was running away, and she said it was because of her parents, and she was like joking about it, and she was like happy, like joking like she always was, and like it didn't seem real because like she was like playing around, joking about it, and the next day she wasn't at school, and like that's the last time I saw her.
This testimony matters because it establishes a pattern. Celeste wasn't running to David. She was running from something at home. This next piece of evidence is going to blow your mind. Remember how everyone thought Celeste hadn't been seen since March or April 2024?
Wrong. Dead wrong.
A neighbor's Nest camera captured video on September 7th, 2024, showing Celeste at her family's apartment complex.
And then we got this video yesterday, which was kind of shocking because we thought maybe the last time her mom had seen her or her parents had seen her was one of the last times she had ran away.
Right. In spring. In the spring of 2024.
So we spoke to a neighbor directly in an apartment right next door to where she lives. Mm-hmm. They had Nest camera. I believe we're going to show
camera
it.
footage that was, this is from September 7th, 2024, and Celeste is the woman you see there. She was arguing with the neighbors because some kids were doing
the context of the video is she lived right next door. Kids in the apartment building had ding-dong ditched her house, so she was going over there to confront the kids. And at the time, they didn't. The neighbors didn't really think anything of it. They're just like,
they had seen the missing posters, but they was like, oh, well, she's here.
After she left, they were talking. They're like, oh, that was the girl from the missing posters because the family had gone up and down the block with the missing posters back in April.
So wait a minute. So the idea here is that she came back in
September 2024
to her family.
Yeah.
So hey, Anakin, come over here for a second.
We don't know if she was back there staying with them or she just went back to visit.
But she was clearly right next door to her family home on September 8th.
We have a mic? Oh, you have your mic.
We spoke to Celeste's mother before she was even identified because we got a tip. She only speaks Spanish. Anakin speaks Spanish, and you talked to her.
Yeah.
What we reported was the last time the family saw her was March of 2024.
So I never got a specific month from her. All I know is that she said that she hadn't seen her for a couple of years until news of her death.
A couple of years.
Well, it certainly wasn't a couple of years because she was there in April.
If she was right next the mother to her house.
If it was September, it was less than a year.
Well, certainly at that point, it's less than a year.
About a year. Yeah.
What's really striking about this incident, though, is it is exactly 1 year before the body was discovered in David's Tesla, to the day.
Right.
The neighbors told us that they thought that she was just back home, but it seems like she was going back and forth.
It seems that way, and it's different from the initial report, which was
that she was
the final time she was
Hollywood.
seen was in March, and she went to Hollywood, and that was it.
Right.
September 7th, 2024. That's her birthday. And she was at her family's home. The neighbors said they thought she was just back home, but it seems like she was going back and forth. This completely destroys the timeline everyone's been working with. Here's where things get really suspicious. When TMZ's Anakin Echeverria interviewed Celeste's mother, and he speaks Spanish, so he could actually communicate with her, she claimed she hadn't seen her daughter for a couple of years before news of her death. A couple of years? The video proves Celeste was literally next door to her family home on September 7th, 2024. Either the mother is lying, confused, or there's something else going on here that nobody's talking about. David's manager Josh Marshall finally broke his silence, but not through a lawyer or a press release. No, this man decided to fight back in TikTok comments. His response.
Lauren Conlon was the writer of that piece, also the host of the Outlier podcast, and she joins me now live. It was a really good break, you being able to connect with Josh Marshall to get him to confirm these things. Did he say anything else? Did he mention anything about where his client David is right now?
No, Ashley, and truthfully, I saw these comments on TikTok on this random video. I could not believe it, and I'm thinking to myself, it's been weeks. There have been so many allegations. Josh Marshall has not said anything yet. So, you know, in order to file this story, I really had to make sure that it was him and these messages were authentic. So I messaged him, not really expecting to get a response. I did some diligence, so I was about 98% sure it was him. And he did write back, and he just confirmed that it was him, and he just stood by his statements, and that was it. So it really wasn't much of anything. However, I still am kind of in shock, because the first time you speak out, why would you clap back, in the comment section of a random TikTok video? I do feel like he possibly has consulted with a lawyer, which is maybe why he didn't bring Celeste's name up at all. And he didn't really say anything else besides a denial of knowing anything. So who knows? But I was just really surprised.
How dare you say something like this with no facts? I receive no emails, and I'm no one's roommate. I live full-time at home with my wife and kids. My daughter is 14. Did you catch that? His daughter is 14, the same age as Celeste. He continues, I never received any emails. I had zero knowledge of anything, and I don't live in California. I work remotely 95% of the time, and my job doesn't require me to have much interaction with any of my clients, David. But here's the problem. Private investigator Steve Fisher says he's seen proof that an email was sent to Marshall about Celeste being missing, complete with a missing person poster. And supposedly, the day after that email was sent, Celeste returned home. That's not a coincidence, that's a pattern. Legal experts are now weighing in on what that search warrant actually means. To get a judge to sign off on searching that Hollywood Hills mansion, investigators needed probable cause that a crime was committed and evidence would be found there. But here's what people aren't understanding. Searching someone's property doesn't mean they're the suspect. It means the property might contain evidence. The distinction matters legally. The search focused on blood evidence. They used luminol, checked drains, looked for biological material. They seized computers, phones, a PlayStation 5. But after all that, no arrest, no charges. Not even naming David as a person of interest officially. Watch how fast the music industry moved. Interscope suspended all promotion. Crocs and Hollister pulled their campaigns. Kali Uchis is removing her collaboration from streaming platforms. The tour got canceled systematically, city by city. But here's what's interesting. David's streaming numbers are up. Romantic Homicide had its biggest week ever on Spotify after this news broke. People are literally streaming what might be a confession on repeat. His label isn't dropping him entirely, just pausing promotion. That's corporate speak for, we're waiting to see how this plays out legally before we make any permanent decisions. In one of the strangest developments yet, David's mother Colleen Burke was photographed leaving a Texas gun store with an AR-15 manual. This was her first public sighting since the case broke. She was with an unidentified male, possibly security. The timing is suspicious, but legally, it means nothing. It's Texas. People buy guns. But the optics of the singer's mother arming herself while her son is under investigation for a potential murder? That's not a good look. Let's break down this timeline because it's crucial. January 2024, Celeste runs away, found in Hollywood Hills. February 2024, she's back home. March 2024, runs away again, tells Damien it's because of her parents. April 5th, 2024, officially reported missing for the last time. September 7th, 2024, seen alive at her family's apartment. September 8th, 2025, body discovered in Tesla. But David's tour started August 5th, 2025. The Tesla was noticed abandoned around the same time. Here's the detail that shows David's mental state. After Celeste's body was found, after the raids, after his name was all over the news, he was tracked playing Fortnite. Multiple matches in casual reload mode. Your life could be over. You might be facing murder charges, and you're playing Fortnite? That's either complete dissociation from reality or the behavior of someone who knows they're not guilty. Steve Fisher, the private investigator on the case, dropped this analysis. Even if Celeste died from an overdose, a crime still took place because she didn't end up in that vehicle on her own. He also revealed that David's manager Josh Marshall knew in 2024 that Celeste was a missing person. That knowledge, combined with continued contact, could support charges of harboring a runaway or contributing to the delinquency of a minor. But those aren't murder charges. Those are misdemeanors. Why would David leave a body in a car 100 feet from his house? If you're going to commit murder, why abandon the evidence basically on your doorstep? Why is the mother claiming she hadn't seen Celeste for years when video proves otherwise? Who actually had access to that Tesla? David was on tour, but the car was moved multiple times. And the biggest question, if David isn't the killer, who is? And why was his car used? This case is far from over. The medical examiner can't determine cause of death. The mother's story doesn't match the evidence. The manager's denials contradict the private investigator's findings. What we're watching is either an elaborate frame-up, a cover-up, or a tragedy where everyone's lying about something. Celeste Rivas deserved better than becoming a mystery. She deserved adults who protected her, a system that took her seriously when she ran away multiple times, and justice that doesn't get tangled in celebrity and confusion. The truth is still out there. But with every new revelation, it seems further away than ever. This is true crime unraveled. Keep questioning everything. And remember, sometimes the real crime isn't what happened, but what everyone's trying to hide about what happened.
Stay safe out there.